The captain died today. The captain, Willis Reed, May 8th, 1970, Game 7, hobbled onto the court. That's all. Got hurt in Game 5. And, before my time, but he is remembered as a phenomenal player. He hobbled onto the court, decisive game. Days earlier, he'd torn a right tensor muscle, which originates in the hip and extends to the thigh while driving for a basket on Chamberlain. Game 5, he sits out Game 6. Game 7, he comes out. Game 6, they lost. Will only scored 45. So Game 7, he comes out. He went to warm out before the start of Game 7, stayed behind in the trainer's room for treatment. So he made he kind of hobbled on, and he said, "You're 5 stories above the ground, and I swear you could feel the vibrations. I thought this is what an earthquake must feel like." He's limping noticeably. He had his first 2 southpaw jump shots, only points of the game. Walt Clyde Frazier, 36 points, 19 assists. They won 113-99, their first title. Crazy. Yeah, he said, "There's a day in my life that people don't remind me of that day." He died. He had congestive heart failure. He had a heart problem. He was coach of the Knicks. He got fired 14 games in the next season after making the playoffs the year before in 78. He said that was, he was an executive with the Pelicans. He is the Justin Kubakos. So he is one of only 3 players in NBA history to be named MVP, All-Star MVP, and Finals MVP in the same season. He won the 65 Rookie of the Year, 70 MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, and won rings in 70 and 73. He got drafted. He played at Grambling, but back then it was called Grambling State, and he was drafted in the 2nd round. He averaged almost 19 points, 13 rebounds. He was chosen for the NBA for the 50th and 75th anniversary teams. In 96, he was chosen by the NBA as one of the 50 greatest players. Number 19 jersey, white with blue and orange trim, was the first to be retired by the Knicks on October 21st, 1976. He got into the NBA Naismith Hall of Fame in 82. He was a coach executive for the Knicks, the Nets, and the Pelicans. He was part of the Nets front office when the team lost consecutive finals for the Nets in 2002 and 2003. Coached at Creighton from 81-85 and was an assistant coach for the Hawks and the Kings. He got into a fight back in 66, with the whole goddamn Laker team. There's video of it. Whole team. Broke 2 guys' jaws, Phil Jack. And one of his teammates said, "Hey, you control it." Nobody came out. He took on the whole goddamn team. He was a tough guy. And Cazzie Russell was on the Knicks in the championship team. They started off, I think they went 17 in a row. And Cazzie Russell had been pulled over because there was a black guy who had escaped from prison with a beard, and Cazzie Russell had a beard. So he came to practice pissed off, got it into it with Bill Bradley. Bill Bradley was at Princeton. He was at Michigan in college, Cazzie Russell. And Willis Reed tried to break it up. And Cazzie Russell called him an Uncle Tom. Now, Willis Reed grew up in Louisiana, in segregated Louisiana, where, he went to black schools and everything. And he didn't take kindly to that. And Cazzie Russell, was like, "Oh, I, probably shouldn't have said that." And Willis Reed said to him, "This Uncle Tom's going to kick your ass." And I think he used more colorful language. But that was one of the stories I read about him. And when he was drafted, he went in the 2nd round. And what did they sign him to? Yeah, he majored in physical education at Grambling, planned on being a teacher until he averaged 27 points and 21 rebounds as a senior. He was the first pick of the 2nd round of 64 after 10 other players had been chosen. So the Knicks selected another big man, Jim Barnes, who had beaten Reed out for a spot for the 64 U.S. Olympic team. Was that Rome? I think, no, Rome was 64. I'm not sure. So he was offered $11,000 with a $3,000 signing bonus. He told Eddie Donovan, the team's GM, that he wanted a bigger bonus, told that the team wanted him to earn on the court. He accepted the challenge and vowed to make Donovan pay him after the season. Crazy. He only played 10 years. He retired. His career was over at 31. Crazy, right? 31. But they called him the captain. And I said, you know what? Start the show. This is probably... he was admired by everybody. Peter Vesey said about him, the reporter who had kept, friendly with him and everything, said that died at 80. In addition to his greatness as a Knick, was also a Nets head coach and GM, drafted Derek Coleman and Kenny Anderson, and traded for Drazen Petrovic, a man's man. Yeah. He was suffering from congestive